Welcome back and thanks for staying with the agenda. The Department of Education in the Eastern Cape has raised concerns over a surge in COVID-19 cases, especially amongst learners in the province. At least 89 schools have been confirmed to have registered cases, with the bulk of them being in the Nelson Mandela Metro, followed by the O.R Tambo District. The department is committed to tightening its monitoring systems in order for academic activities not to be affected. For more on this, let's cross live now to our colleague Abongile Jantjies, who's got the MEC for Education, but you've also got an update on an accident in the province, Abongile, but let me let you take it over from here.
Good morning to you, Desiree. Yes, indeed, there's concern over the surge of COVID-19 cases here in the province, especially when it's under 100 days to go to the matric exams, Desiree. Recall that the department suffered a 5% decline last year due to COVID-19 cases. With me, I do have the MEC for Education, Fundile Gade. A very good morning to you, MEC. A surge in COVID-19 cases at our schools surely must be of great concern, but are your plans in place? The plans that you have, how are they mitigating the effects of COVID-19?
No, thanks to the viewers and listeners to the SABC. We have picked up that there are concerns in relation to the COVID-19 infections. We are around 1,341 kids now in the province that have been identified by the Department of Health as infected ones. We have assembled a team that deals with that precisely because we picked up that the trends are telling us that they are predominantly coming from the boarding and hostel schools.
We've lost audio there. We'll try to reconnect with Abongile in a bit. But to this story now, the National Assembly's Rules Committee meets this morning to discuss the way forward regarding the impeachment of a head of a Chapter 9 institution. The meeting follows a court ruling that two of the rules for the process were unconstitutional. The Western Cape High Court said the head of a Chapter 9 body has to be allowed to have legal representation when appearing before the National Assembly Section 194 committee. Secondly, it ruled that judges should not be on the independent panel that decided whether there was a prima facie case against such a person. The National Assembly Section 194 panel has already been established. It is tasked with inquiring whether there are grounds for the removal from office of Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane from office. Mkhwebane has called for an immediate halt to the impeachment inquiry following the court's ruling. Let's take you back now to Abongile. We got cut, the connection got cut a while ago. Apologies for that, Abongile. You can continue with your conversation.
Apologies for that, Desiree. Apologies to you too, MEC. You were saying that it's in the boarding areas where schools have hostels and a large number of pupils that these cases surge in.
Yes, we have identified that the patterns are indicating that they are coming from the boarding schools. For example, if you talk about Nyanga Senior Secondary School and the other one in Beckersdorp. So our approach as the Department of Education and the Department of Health should be going beyond the clinical services, the psychosocial services, but also look at the social mobilization of the people, because we are of view, because if you look to the infections currently are either as a result of the social misconduct or behavior of the people, precisely because we have as education in the country closed sporting activities, but generally sporting is not closed by government, and from out of school sport point of view, these are the causes of the infections from where I am seated. So we just needed to be sure of ensuring that when they come back, those that have quarantined now, we tighten up the issues of regulations, we tighten up the issues of ensuring that the teachers themselves are a bit safer now because we're going to trial examinations, which is going to be an indicator of what is likely to happen in December. So this is a critical phase in education sector, more than the phase of December, because from education's point of view, you can't be saying now you do not know what is going to happen in December.
Have you closed any schools thus far, MEC, due to these cases? And
yes.
How many are they?
Yes, we have closed some of them, about 5 of them that has been closed on the basis of the massive number of infections. But for the few days, 2 or 3 days, so that we can be able to clean them and ensure that the Department of Health come into that space and then resume classes after we have been able to contaminate all the infected areas that could be a risk to the kids of that particular institution.
Seeing that they are found at schools, but people have, as you mentioned, they have a social life outside schools. So maybe people are putting the blame on the department, whilst people are engaging outside the school. We don't know what the kids are getting up to outside the school, and the safety of your teachers. I understand that not all of them, even though it's the bulk of them that have vaccinated. What do you say about those who haven't been vaccinated due to underlying comorbidities?
It's unfortunately because the sector will have to go an extra mile, because remember, there are those that are not supposed to be vaccinated, either on the basis of them being pregnant, either because of their ill sicknesses that requires some clinical services beyond just being vaccinated for COVID-19. But the approach and the attitude of the sector is that we must tighten up almost everything because life comes first. This is one sector that has been hit quite badly in the second phase. Remember, here we lost the HOD, we lost senior managers, chief directors from HRM, and lots of teachers. So it can't be as business as usual in terms of ensuring that we put life of the people at first and look at how best do we also balance up with the constitutional mandate of the sector. That one is a non-negotiable matter.
You suffered tremendously during the 2020 academic year, especially when it comes to the matric. How hopeful are you that it won't decline once more?
No, in terms of the systems that have been put up by the management and ourselves as provincial government, we are going back to the original percentage we have. That one I can assure you. We have developed a strategy now, which the HOD and myself have been visiting districts for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks to be precise, where we are meeting the schools of Section 58B in terms of the Schools Act, the underperforming ones. But meeting them is not that much of an issue. What is an issue for us is how many learners are between level 1 and 2 in that school, in which subjects, at what percentage. Can the interventions put by government take those kids from 25% if they are in short of 5% for them to make level 3 in terms of the pass rate? Because remember, for the kids, they must not fail more than 2 subjects for grade 12. At least they can fail 1 and still pass with flying colors. But the attitude of the provincial government is that, for example, from maths and science, which is predominantly more numbers of registration in the country, in the province, the focus of us, myself and the HODs, how to ensure that we take that mathematics to 40% at least, so that you can raise the percentage of the province and as well raise the percentage of the country in totally.
Lastly, the budget cuts, you mentioned that you also expect some sort of budget cuts for this financial year. Isn't that an effect to these COVID-19 cases? Do schools have the necessary equipment like your sanitizers, masks, all of them here in the province to at least mitigate COVID-19?
Surely you can't have a budget of about 5 billion rand as a department, but that is not an hindrance. That one is an hindrance, of course, especially when you speak about the COE budget, the human resource provisioning. That one is key. But what we have done with the provincial treasurer is to take the budget vote from the infrastructure to complement the weakness of the COVID-19 budget, because remember, COVID-19 was not part of the medium-term expenditure framework for government. So we'll have to alter the budget trends and give this one a priority, precisely because COVID-19 requirements are not an option. It's a must that you must have those PPEs before anything happened. That's why we deposited 65 million rands to schools about a month back, so that they can operate whilst we are still busy finalizing the procurement of the bigger contract, so that we don't then find ourselves being followed by the SIU investigations in the country on the basis of a reckless procurement process, which has happened and attracted negativity for the national government.
I thank you so much, MEC, for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Desiree, in sad news, at least 2 learners from Abongile High School have died when a bus overturned whilst they were on their way to school this morning. I do have the MEC for transport here in the province, Umama Weziwe. A very good morning to you, MEC, and thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about this bus accident?
Good morning to you and the viewers and listeners, of course. Currently, we cannot explain of what have happened, but we are doing investigation. What we are told is that the driver have lost the control of the bus, then the bus overturned. That's information in our possession. A team of law enforcement officers, police and traffic officers will be doing investigation, then we'll have a report after that.
Have you sent at least social workers to the people who are affected, at least the learners who have survived this bus accident?
Yes, those learners have been hospitalized, the 7 learners. There were 9 learners in the bus. 2 are those who are deceased, and who are sending the words of condolences to the family, to the school and the education family at large. Then the others are admitted. As government, we are working in a coordinated manner. Social workers will be there, and the team from the Department of Transport.
I thank you so much for your time, MEC.
Thank you.
Well, Desiree, there you have it from the MEC for Education, Fundile Gade, and the MEC for Transport here in the province, Weziwe, briefing us about the matters. Sadly, the 2 learners died this morning here in the province due to a bus that overturned. Desiree.
Quite unfortunate, and thanks for bringing it to our attention, Abongile Jantjies.